Coach Devin here. You have heard lots of times people talk about getting leaner, how to get leaner, all those things. But quite often I see on social media platforms all the time people saying, hey, well, a pound is a pound. There's lots of trainers out there that will tell you that. A pound is a pound. This is true, but also kind of not true. And that's the funny part. What you've got out there is that is a case. If you have 1 pound of this and 1 pound of that, so 1 pound of fat as compared to 1 pound of muscle, they weigh exactly the same. But they're very different. And that's where confusion lies, and that's where trainers get out there and tell you stuff that isn't exactly true. That's how this works. So let's talk about that. A pound of muscle and a pound of fat, yes, they weigh the same. No question. I'd be an idiot if I argued anything different. A pound of muscle obviously doesn't weigh more than a pound of fat, and vice versa. But volume, very, very different. So let's break it down in this way. A pound of fat is more voluminous, takes up more space than a pound of muscle. Why is that? Well, because fat is got a lot more liquid in it. It's just bigger. In general, the molecules are bigger, all those things. So you've got a bigger thing when you have a pound of fat as compared to a pound of muscle. That is why you'll see someone who is 200 pounds and someone else who's 200 pounds, and one of them is much, much bigger physically than the other. The fit one tends to look smaller, and the one that is not fit tends to look bigger. Well, why is that? Because muscle takes up less space. Muscle is about 3 to 4 times more dense than fat. It just is. That's how it works. Obviously, you look at fat and, you think about fat, oh, that jiggles up and down and stuff like that. Muscle doesn't jiggle up and down, really. Why doesn't it jiggle up and down? Because it's much more dense. There's much more to it. So that is where you get trainers online that say, a pound is a pound. Yes, it is a pound is a pound, but they're very different things when you break it right down. So when you want to get more fit, sometimes your weight will stay the same. I've got lots of clients, and I'll say to them, they'll come to me the first time to meet me, and they'll say, I want to be X weight. I want to be 140 pounds. I want to be 190 pounds, whatever it is. And I say, okay, it doesn't really matter how much you weigh, though. And they say, yeah, but I you know what, at my best weight, when I was in high school, I played this. I'm like, okay, I get that. However, if I could wave a magic wand today, right this very second, and I said, okay, I'm going to wave my magic wand, you're going to look exactly the way you want to look. They're like, oh, great. I would love to look the way I want to look. And you say, all right, you're going to look exactly the way you want to look, but you're going to weigh what you weigh right now. They're like, okay. And I say, would you care? Would you care how much you weigh if you looked exactly the way you want to look? Well, no one is going to care. If you want to be leaner and you say, okay, I look exactly the way I want to look, you've got abs, your butt looks the way you want to look, your arms look the way you want to look, all those things look like you want, but you weigh what you weigh right now, would you give a damn about anything else? Would you care about how much weight you weigh? Well, no. Why is that? Because people, in the end of the day, you're equating weight to how you look, but it's not a great model. And the reason is because fat is more voluminous, it's bigger than muscle. So in the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you weigh. What matters is how you look, how you feel, how fit are you. Those are the 3 big things. That's what you give a damn about. You don't care about the other things. People get on a scale because it's an easy way to see where they're going, but it isn't always the best. That's why when we do transformations, we don't say just the weight, we talk about the inches. Sometimes you can have someone who loses 10 pounds and 20 inches. Well, you would think that's counterintuitive. How does that work, right? How would you lose pounds, only 10 pounds, but you lose a lot of inches? You look totally different. Well, that's because you have got more muscle now. So now your body is tighter and more dense. And then in the end of the day, that's what we want to look. Nobody wants to be skinny fat. Right? And no one wants to be out there going, yeah, kind of skinny and fat at the same time. Nobody likes that idea. That's no fun. Nobody likes that. There's not one person watching this video or anywhere else in the world that wants to be skinny and fat. What you want to be is leaner. You want to be more toned. You want to look good. That's the goal. And you know what? There are nothing wrong with any of those things. But you have to remember, muscle weighs more than fat when it's the same volume size. So 1 pound of muscle weighs the same as fat, but it also is much more dense. So the same size muscle and fat, the muscle weighs more. That is an important thing to remember. So don't get caught up in how much something weigh, how much you weigh. Does it matter how much you weigh? No, not really. A better idea of how fit you are is go by inches. Go by your clothing. Your clothing won't change. It's not getting bigger or getting smaller. Your clothing is your clothing. That is the best way to figure out where you're going. If you're the same weight and your clothes are way looser, congratulations, you're going in the right direction. Be positive with yourself. Don't jump on that scale every day. It's not a healthy way to do it. Go by your clothing. Go by inches. Get a body fat caliber test, whatever. Don't get yourself caught up in the size of the number rather. Don't get caught up in the number on the scale. Get caught up in how fit you are, how you feel, and how you look. That's what's important. Everybody have yourself an amazing day. Don't fight the awesome.